Gardener here. So why am I called the Gospel Gardener? Because all my plants and vegetables are Christian, of course. No, that's ridiculous. Because I get to combine two of the things I love the most: gardening and the gospel. So today, for the gospel segment, I've decided to start a new series, and this will be the first in that series, called Things the Bible Never Actually Says, but everyone claims it does, or quotes it as if it is said. Number one in that series will be, God will never give you more than you can handle. The only problem is that's a bunch of rubbish. God frequently gives you more than you can handle, and there's a lot of biblical evidence to state that. Moses, when he was commanded by God to go to Pharaoh of Egypt, the most powerful country in the world, and demand that he let his entire workforce go for free, that was something that Moses himself could not actually handle. Then he was faced with crossing the Red Sea, something else he could not exactly handle. Then there was Jonah stuck on the whale, who could not handle that, so God spit him out. And then there's the whole idea of the New Testament, where the Pharisees, Jesus was speaking to the Pharisees, and he said to them, I did not come to save the righteous, but the sinners. And the righteous but sinners, not the healthy but the sick. He gives the people the sickness and the unrighteousness, or they give it to themselves to their own sin, so they have to need a saviour. So the problem is, I think what people mean to say when they say it is they're falsely quoting 1 Corinthians 10:13, which is, God will never tempt you beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will provide a way of escape for you, so that you will be able to endure it. The problem is, that's speaking to Christians alone, and it's talking about temptation towards sin, not life circumstances particularly. Also, it's preceded by the verse in front of it, which is verse 12, which says, therefore let him who thinks he stands take heed that he does not fall, which is another way of saying, the second that you think that you are able to handle it, you are in fact at your most vulnerable, because you are not able to handle your circumstances, nor have you really ever been able to, apart from the sustaining grace of God and sovereignty of God. So it's a very dangerous thing to think, I can handle this. It's better off to think I can actually handle nothing and I need God's help at all times. This is not to mention the primary gospel function of this that contradicts this statement, which is that God has given you an incredibly large thing that you could never handle, and the second you think that you can, you're doomed to you're on a one-way path to hell and judgment, and that is your sin problem. If you think that you can handle your sin problem, you've only minimized the holiness of God and minimized your sin problem. So if we look at the holiness of God and your sin problem accurately, the total depravity of man, which is that you are pretty much sinning all the time. Sin is not an event that you do, it's who you are. You are a sinner. If you think that you can handle your sin, what you're really trying to tell people is, when you say God will never give you more than handle, what you're really saying is, God would never put you in a situation where you could not save yourself. Which is a bit of a problem, because the entire gospel itself, the good news, so to speak, is against the bad news, which is that you cannot save yourself. You are the problem. It was your best thinking that got you here in your predicament of this sinful world that we live in. So if you think that you can handle your sin problem, that is called self-righteousness, that is called legalism, that is called making yourself your own saviour, which is a bit rubbish as well, leading to hell and judgment. In that case, when you die, you will go to such place, and then you will be faced with the biggest thing you cannot handle, which is an eternity without God, and it will be bad. So my point is saying this, is God will always give you more than you can handle, because he doesn't want you to depend on your own salvation. He doesn't want you to depend on your own ability to save yourself. God will frequently give you situations where you cannot handle it, because he wants to prove that he is God and you are not. He wants to show that he can save you, you cannot save yourself, because in that he is glorified, and that is the entire purpose of anything anyway. The chief end of man is to glorify God by enjoying him forever. So the second you think that you are in a place where you can handle it, be very, very, very cautious. And the next time you want to give people a bit of chipper advice of God will never give you more than you can handle, maybe you should give them the better advice, which was that God has already given you much more than you can handle, and without him saving you and intervening you with his grace and mercy, you're totally hosed.